Raider Nation, what's going on? You're watching the Antonio Brown Report here on the Raiders Report. Guess what? I got a lot of news around Antonio Brown, but here's the thing. The news coming out about Brown today is actually some good news because he finally practiced. Now, during the portion of practice that was open to the media, Brown did what Brown does, added to the helmet drama by showing up to the team's stretching session without a helmet on his head. When I heard this, I was like, oh no, here we go again. Although it looked like Brown was going to skip practice because he didn't have that helmet, he actually showed up and practiced, which, hey Brown, good. I'm glad that happened. So what exactly, when I heard that he was finally practicing, I was like, all right, well, let me see the helmet that's going on here. So the helmet that Brown ended up using was a Schutt Vengeance Z10. So Schutt Vengeance Z10, I owe you a beer, whoever made that helmet. I'm glad that he's finally wearing this thing. Now, Brown has been refusing to play until the NFL let him wear the helmet, okay? His original helmet that he wanted to wear was the Schutt AiR Advantage. Obviously, AB thinks that it gives him enough of an advantage. Now, I'm glad that he finally practiced. I'm glad that he has a helmet of his choice. There is still a grievance issue out there, but all this Antonio Brown practicing is coming after 48 hours after Raiders GM Mike Mayock had this quote. He's upset about the helmet issue. We have supported that. We appreciate that. But at this point, we've pretty much exhausted all avenues of relief. So from our perspective, it's time for him to be all in or all out. We're hoping he's back soon. We've got 89 guys busting their tails. We are really excited about where this franchise is going, and we're hoping AB is going to be a big part of it, starting week 1 against Denver. End of story, no questions. Now, I think it's a good quote from Mike because, I mean, if there's one thing AB's kind of done, he's kind of dictated when he's going to play, when he's going to practice, and maybe I'm old school in this regard, but if Jon Gruden and Mike Mayock tell you to get out on the field and play and practice, you better do it. So I like the fact that Mike Mayock kind of finally was like, hey, AB, you want to be all in or all out? Because we got some things going on this year, and I'm hoping that this season for the Oakland Raiders is booming. So let's get this question, okay? Somebody asked me, is all the AB drama over? Type Y for yes, type N for no. I want to say yes. I really do. I want to say all the Antonio Brown drama is over. There's some people out there who think the drama has just been made for Hard Knocks. Because think about it, the real news that's come out around Antonio Brown is kind of right before Hard Knocks comes out. I sent out a tweet the other day where it was like, episode 2 was the second most watched Hard Knocks episode ever, behind the Miami Dolphins 2012 episode when they cut Chad Ochocinco. And I think AB heard that and he was just like, all right, man, hold my beer. So is Antonio Brown drama over? Type Y for yes or type N for no. Also, make sure you guys subscribe to the Raiders Report, the #1 Raiders channel on YouTube, youtube.com/Raiders Report. I know I got a lot of new people watching me on Facebook. If you're not already watching on YouTube, though, go over there and click subscribe. I'm at 21,059. I want to get to 22K by August 22nd. Sounds pretty cool, right? August 22nd is my goal for that. So that's Raiders versus the Packers. I'm going to be doing a watch party. Hope the entire nation joins me. Last game, I drank 7 beers because we hit 700 likes. I don't know if we'll be allowed to do that here at Chat Sports again, but if the bosses give me the okay, one way that I can guarantee you they'll give me the okay is if we hit 22K by August 22nd. Raider Nation, show out and be all in for that game. Speaking of being all in, let's talk about Antonio Brown. And is he all in? So the reason why the wording is used here is because Mike Mayock in his quote told him either to be all in or basically don't be all in. So speaking of the media following the team's latest practice, Jon Gruden confirmed that Brown was at practice in a new helmet and that helmet was certified. Good job, Jon. Gruden also went on to say that he believes Antonio Brown is all in and that he's ready to go, and doesn't believe that the foot issues have kept the superstar, or are going to keep the superstar from practicing anymore. Here's the thing. I want to see Antonio Brown finally on the field, because when he was on the field with the Steelers, there was a lot of good things happening. And when Antonio Brown is all in, good things happen. Now, Jon Gruden, during the offseason, said that he loves Antonio Brown's work ethic. He loves Antonio Brown simply based on the fact that he's one of the hardest working dudes he's ever been around. So if Antonio Brown is, in fact, all in, This is going to be good news for Derek Carr. It's going to be good news for Tyrell Williams, Josh Jacobs, the entire offense. The offense in general has looked pretty solid during the preseason. Against the Rams, Mike Lennon, minus those 2 interceptions. Nathan Peterman played well. But in that second preseason game, they put up 26 points very, very quickly. The first-team offense moved the ball. So if Antonio Brown is all in, good things are about to happen here for the Raiders, and I'm hoping we get to see it against the Packers. So, Antonio Brown news seems like it's pretty good. So, who wants an Antonio Brown jersey? If you want an Antonio Brown jersey, I want you to comment below if you're watching us on YouTube, and if you're watching us on Facebook, AB. If you just want to go right after me, slide in those DMs at Mitchell Renz 365 on IG, on Twitter. Heck, you guys can even DM me now on Facebook. I'm answering those way more often, I promise you. So, if you want an Antonio Brown jersey, type AB. I'll come find you. Or slide in my DMs at Mitchell Renz 365. Or here's another way you can get a jersey. Go to chatsports.com/Raiders and use my promo code GORAIDERS. So we got, I think this is the number my boss told me, 500 Raiders jerseys. So if you want Antonio Brown, Derek Carr, Josh Jacobs, Jonathan Abram, Cleveland Ferrell, we got a shit ton of jerseys, and they're taking up room here at Chat Sports. So go to chatsports.com/Raiders. Use that promo code GORAIDERS, and when you deposit $50, take a screenshot of your MyBookie code. It'll say MB with some numbers. Send that to me, and I can get you any jersey you want. Sound good? Chatsports.com/Raiders. All right, more Antonio Brown news on the Antonio Brown Show. That's what you're going to get here. Is Brown going to play versus the Packers? This is a question that I asked earlier in the week, but now the fact that he's practicing, now the fact that he has a helmet, now that his feet are healthy, are we finally going to get to see Antonio Brown? So I thought that he looked healthy on Thursday in pregame versus the Cardinals. Now, I don't really know what kind of drills he was running. I mean, I don't know if you saw him doing his drills. He's like high stepping, and he's like doing all those things. I know you guys can't see my feet right now, but I was like, what kind of person actually runs like that? Is that good for your feet? I'm not sure. But the fact that Gruden now believes that he's all in, the fact that he practiced today, my fingers are crossed because I want to see Antonio Brown in the dress rehearsal game. Game 3 is the game that normally the starters play the most. There was another report out there, though, that the Raiders look so good on offense week 2 against the Cardinals that some of their starters might not play week 3. I don't really know if that's the way that I would handle it, but hey, that's part of it. So Antonio Brown is probably the number 1 player that I want to see against the Packers. So here's some 4 other players that I want you guys to watch for against the Packers. You got Derek Carr. How's he going to link up with his main dude? Josh Jacobs, 4 carries, 21 yards. Looked really, really solid in that game. Darren Waller. Darren Waller was battling a shoulder injury, but it looks like he's going to be on the field week 3 against the Packers. And then Garyon Conley. Garyon, you want a good test? Devontae Adams, Aaron Rodgers. There you go. You've been struggling this offseason. I'm going to throw a challenge flag at you because I want to see you perform in this game. So is Antonio Brown going to play against the Packers? Type Y for yes or type N for no. If you're confident that he's going to play, tell me how many series is he going to play because he's really only going to play with the starters. So will AB play versus the Green Bay Packers? Type Y for yes or type N for no. Now, a wise man once said, know your friends well, enemies better, something like that. Obviously, I'm not a wise man. So let's talk about Aaron Rodgers here. Oh, Tom's going to yell at me. So there was a report that Aaron Rodgers has a chance to play versus the Raiders. Here's the thing, though. Aaron flat out came out and said that he wants to play versus the Raiders, but that is if new head coach Matt LaFleur allows him to do so. So one of the reasons why I really want to see this go down, the Raiders' defense has looked really good. Like, they played really solid against the Rams, holding them to only 190 total yards, 3 points. And then against the first-team offense of the Cardinals, you basically held them to 0 points. That's pretty good. Plus, Kyler Murray struggled, 3 of 8 for 12 yards. They got a safety. The defensive players for the Raiders have been able to get after the quarterback. I like Arden Key's motor. A good test. Aaron Rodgers, Aaron Jones, and Devontae Adams. That's a good test. Now, this game, though, is taking place in Canada. So I saw this, and I thought it was pretty interesting. The Raiders are traveling to the U.S., okay, obviously. They play all their games in the U.S. Then they got the game in England against the Bears, week 5. And then this preseason game is against Canada. So USA England and Canada. Now, here's the thing, guys. I'm not a geography major. That's why I do the Raiders Report. But did you know the Raiders will be the first team in NFL history to play in 3 countries in one season? I think that's pretty interesting, right? The Raiders are going to be the first team in NFL history to play in 3 countries in one season. Some of you will be like, well, it's because the NFL hates the Raiders and they want them to travel all over the world. Hey, that might be part of it. But thought it was an interesting stat, and I wanted to hook you guys up with that. So join me August 22nd, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. I'm doing a Raiders versus Green Bay Packers watch party. I'm going to be sitting down drinking beers. Literally, I was FaceTiming people on my phone, telling them to chug beers with me. We're going to have a good time, breaking down the game. Raiders versus the Packers. Make sure I get to 22K also, so subscribe at youtube.com/Raiders Report. Join me Thursday, August 22nd at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Raiders versus Packers watch party. Raider Nation, what's going on? Is this the #1 Raiders channel on YouTube? For Chucky heads, believe it, baby. And if you haven't already, subscribe right here. I'm giving you Chucky heads, news, rumors, Raider Nation rumors. And look at this, I'm making your life easier. Check out my next video. Thanks for watching, and go Raiders.